Hello everyone and welcome back to the Pink. And after a long wait, Norwich City have confirmed the signing of Matej Jurasek from Slavia Prague. I'm delighted to be joined by Bart Cernik from eSport in the Czech Republic, where he has been covering Slavia Prague, so there's nobody better really to ask about Matej Jurasek. First of all, thank you for coming on, Bart. We do really appreciate it. If we start at the beginning, I think Jurasek had a pretty fast start to his career, sort of burst onto the scene at quite a young age. When were you aware that this was somebody who could go on and become a pretty good player for Slavia Prague?
Hi, Sam. Thanks for the invite. Here in Czech Republic, we had always big expectations from Matej Jurasek because he's the type of player we don't usually grow here. We once his coach Jindřich Trpišovský called him un-Czech player, not the Czech type, because our league is very, very intense. There's a lot of physical duels. It's very hard by some metrics and data. Is one of the most physical leagues in Europe, and so we don't really grow technical players here that much. You can see like the big players that came into like Premier League, like Tomáš Souček, Vladimír Soufal, and others. They're mostly like players with that are great runners, very, very good in their physical play. But Matej Jurasek is a different breed. He's a very technical player, great left foot, things we really see in the foreign leagues. So the expectations for him to move to Europe has been always big, but maybe there's an argument that we expected him to get there sooner, or maybe to even like be a bigger player for Slavia Prague than he is now.
Yeah, you mentioned the fact that it is quite a physical league, and he's obviously a pretty technical player. Was that a problem for him at the start? Did he struggle with the physicality at all when he was young?
He has quite a good structure. He's not like a shortest guy, but I think he's been struggling with the physicality and the intensity up until now. Even that is one of the reasons him and Slavia part ways, because he just couldn't really adapt to the needs of the coach, because Slavia they embrace really the physicality of the league. They don't want to play other football. They play really high intensity, up and down. And Jurasek, he had a few moments where he showed he can be a great asset, but most of the time he couldn't be consistent enough with this type of football to perform regularly. So I think there's an argument to be made that he really hasn't adapted in the 3 full years, or about 3 years he spent in Slavia.
And if we go back to sort of when he first came onto the scene, I think he played a few games for Slavia and then had a few loan spells actually with different clubs in sort of the top and second divisions in the Czech Republic. Did those help him at all? Was that quite a big part of his development when he was young?
Yeah, definitely. It's the typical way of Slavia handling their young players. They give them a few minutes in the senior team just to show them that the path is open there, and then they send them for a loan in the second division, then in the first division, and then if the player really has something in them, they can be incorporated to the first team. It doesn't really happen regularly, which only shows that Jurasek was very special in Slavia youth. and definitely these loans have shaped him for a player that could play the first Czech league. That, as I said, is very hard, and he wouldn't be able to perform in Slavia because the coaches are not like set that player. It's a young player from Slavia. He has to get a chance. They will give him the chance, even if he doesn't deserve it. He really needs to deserve it, and really needs to be important for the team, because Slavia are always playing for the top spot, and they can't really just give minutes for free. So it really definitely helped him, the spell loans he had in Karviná and Vlašim.
Indeed. And then he came back, and for the 2022-23 season, I'm sure you've seen much more of it than the sort of 5-minute highlights videos I've seen. But from his stats as well, it looked like that first full season at Slavia, when he came back from those loans, he was really on form. Would you say that was his best season so far of his career?
Yeah, it's really strange to say like that, because he was still really inexperienced. When you just look at the goals and look at the stats, you see like he like 6+4 in just 700 minutes in the league. That's really good. I think it's like career high. But you gotta dig a little deeper than that, because he scored 4 goals in matches that had a massive score lines, like 7-0, 6-0, 5-1. He scored in the game state that was like it was pretty much done. He just came from the bench and finished the match with like 1 or 2 goals. He had one of the best games in his career there against Baník Ostrava, one of the biggest clubs here, when he literally like decided the match with 2 beautiful goals, some great individual play. So that's the match I remember. But as I said, I think his overall play has been better in other seasons, but this is the season he has the best numbers from.
Yeah, and he hasn't really been able to produce those numbers over the last couple of seasons, and you've probably explained what a lot of that was in terms of where he's producing those goals and assists. But it does feel like, given that season was when I think he would have been 19 when that season started, that in the 18 months since then, it hasn't really gone especially well for him. Is that the feeling in Czech at the moment, that maybe he hasn't fulfilled that potential that he showed a couple of seasons ago?
Yeah, definitely. I think like Czech media and Czech fans overall, Slavia fans overall, have like a love-hate relationship with Jurasek, because you can see he's such a special player, but he's a player of moments. He's always have like I personally don't remember like a match where he like destroyed an opponent or played a great match from the first minute to the last. He's always like on the page, and then he comes up with like one moment of magic. But for Slavia and their ambition and their style of play, that's not enough. They need a player who fights all the time. And now is the question if Czech football and coaches were failing Jurasek, or it was other way around, that he's just not like really good enough. Like, he has worked on himself constantly. He takes the criticism, but there's been a feeling that he maybe just doesn't have the right nature to really break some of his bad habits. So we have just this sample from Slavia. There's another sample from national team under 21 years, where with his talent, he also should have been like one of the most productive and one of the best players. And yes, he scored some important goals there, but the expectations were higher than that also. So unfulfilled potential on like 2 fronts. So this is the feeling that Slavia really expected more. And when he first broke into the scene, they expected maybe that one day this will be their record sale, but it's nowhere near it.
Yeah, so I suppose it's sort of, does Slavia see it as the right time to offload offload Jurasek now? Then that they haven't really got that potential out, and does it feel like maybe recently they've decided they aren't going to get that potential out of him?
Yeah, it's the best time for them. It was like complicated half of season for Jurasek because he's been selected for the European Championship for the senior team. So but he played only like few minutes there, and because Czech league starts pretty soon in the middle of July, he missed the most of the summer camp, which is very important. And he's been struggling to get into shape. Then he got into shape, and Slavia really hoped that Jurasek will thrive this season. This will be his season because they also changed formation like 1 year back. Previously, they played 4-1-4-1, and in this formation, the coach Jindřich Trpišovský needs the wingers to like track back the fullbacks of the other team, even to their own corner flag if it's needed. But in the 3-4-3 they're playing now the fullbacks and the center backs are doing the job. So they hoped he will thrive in this system, but it really didn't happen. And there were like the problems sometimes with his attitude on the pitch, and I think like some in December we broke the news that Slavia are like putting Jurasek for sale because everyone in the club was like, okay, we can't get more from this guy. So it's for Slavia that the thing that they were able to sell him now in the winter is the best time.
Yeah, and before we move on to maybe how things might pan out for him at Norwich, I just wanted to ask you about the deal that's been done, because I think it's somewhere close to €7 million or just under £6 million. Do you think that's a good deal for Slavia or for Norwich?
Like I know in these interviews with like Czech journalists and sometimes from other countries, the journalists always like super hype the players from their country. But this is not my case really. So I think Slavia made a better deal with this. I was very surprised in December when I heard the asking price is around €8 million, which I thought like in the winter window for a player that is mostly coming from the bench in Czech league, no matter his potential, but it's really it's the play on the pitch that makes the price really. But so I was really surprised that Slavia are asking this, and I thought it's impossible for them to get a deal. I thought they'll get a loan to some foreign league where he can show himself in the spring, and then they can sell him in summer. But I was pretty surprised that Norwich could come up with this price, and it's like 7 million and plus some bonuses. And from what I heard in Slavia, they are very happy about the deal.
Interesting. So then we come on to what he might look like at Norwich, and you mentioned the fact that sort of early on in his career and with some of the attributes that he has, there was a feeling that he could suit playing in Europe. Are you still of that opinion, even though he's maybe not fulfilled that potential, that he might do a little bit better in Europe and in the Championship with Norwich?
Depending on the style of the league, like I know Championship has come a long way from the really tough physical league of 2 meter players just jumping around like. That's not really that. You can see that Premier League players teams are buying a lot of Championship players. It's much more technical league, but I still think for Jurasek there would like Bundesliga or La Liga would suit better. Or even Serie A, because still I see Championship and English football overall as a type of play where the players still going up and down, high intensity. I heard something about Norwich style. I know they want to keep possession, be on the ball a lot, but I'm not really sure about the nature of the league that it will suit him. But he's definitely made for like European football. It's just about the style of play of the team and the league.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he does adapt to that style of play at Norwich and in the Championship. But I just wanted to finish by asking you about his position, because I know he's played on the right and on the left in his career. Would you say he's better coming off the right though?
Yeah, he's definitely better playing of the right, because his left foot is like that's a work of magic. Yeah, you can see it in his goals when he has a space. He can put his Robben-esque shots from the right space. And Slavia, they've been always used to rotate the wingers during the game. Like they change the position constantly, left and right, left and right. So yeah, he played on the left sometimes too. He was also used as a left wing back for 2 games, I think. But I really prefer him from the right side, even though his crossing from the left side is really good.
Yeah.
But I would definitely see him in Norwich, as I've heard they prefer the players who come inside. I would definitely see him on the right wing. I don't see him anywhere else there.
Indeed, and I think that probably what Norwich are recruiting for at the moment suggests that he will be playing off the right for them as well. Thank you very much, Bart. Really appreciate it. If anybody wants to go and find any more of your coverage, how can they find you on socials and things like that?
Yeah, if English fans want to see my Czech tweets, you can find me on Twitter or X. It's Bart Cernik. But I will watch Jurasek's career in England closely. So maybe I'll have some opinions about him there. So maybe see you there. Thank you for inviting me.
No, thank you very much, Bart. Let's hope he surprises you in a Norwich shirt. Of course, if anybody wants any more coverage of this transfer or anything else Norwich City related, then pinkun.com/subscribe is the place to go if you haven't already. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you very soon.